Hey, care partners. So great to see you here today. Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit today about when it comes time to, mom's not doing great at home anymore, dad's not doing great at home anymore. And we need to find that next step place, and it'd be so great if we could find something like home. And there are a lot of options out there. We're getting really better options all the time than when I was younger. But it's so important that you check out a place. You want to go there, visit, you want to walk through, listen, smell, you want to check it out. And one of the options is a group home. And so we went out and we reserved for you Janet Davies to come in and talk today with us because she is someone who has just an enormous amount of experience doing this. And I've met her before. I've been in one of her houses and thought it would be a great speaker to bring on the podcast today and share with you because she has amazing expertise on what it is to, live in a group home and to manage a wonderful group home. And so let me tell you about Janet. Janet is the founder and administrator of Mimi's House. She earned her master's degree in speech language pathology and is a speech therapist with 32 years of experience in the healthcare field. While her career has focused on caring for adults in various settings, the last 10 years were spent serving seniors with dementia and Alzheimer's in big box skilled nursing facilities. Janet draws on this background to fuel her passion to provide a better quality of life for our seniors. Janet's experience includes co owning and managing a dental practice and multi-use building for 20 plus years. She has a variety of real estate holdings, including homes, multifamily, and commercial assets. She is a coach certified by Teepa Snow's Positive Approach to Care to train caregivers in state-of-the-art dementia care practices. Janet is an experienced member of the RAL, the Academy Student Success Support Team. Janet adds value to seniors' lives by providing exceptional care and training others to identify and attend to individual needs while helping residents and their families and caregivers succeed. Please welcome today Janet Davies. Hey, Janet.
Hey, hi, Teresa. Thanks for having me today.
Of course, of course. And you've been on the list to get on here because we haven't really heard from someone who does what you do, and it's just so important. Um, let's
Thank you.
just let's just jump right in. How did you get into this line of work?
Well, yeah. Well, my background, as you mentioned, as a speech pathologist, I've been working with people with, neurocognitive disorders and changes for many, many years now. And uh, During this time, last 10 years, I was working in skilled nursing facilities. And During that time, also, my own mother was diagnosed with frontal lobe dementia. When I was working in the nursing homes, I kept, this is about 12 years ago that I started doing that. And we kept finding that people were waiting and waiting to go to the bathroom. Even I worked with a lot of great caregivers, a lot of great nurses, but they would come to me like crying because they like just couldn't do enough for people. And it was, we all were frustrated because we just couldn't provide the kind of quality of care that we really wanted to provide. Um, and that was, I was becoming very frustrated. People were, every time I went to get somebody for therapy, they'd say, can you take me to the bathroom? I've been waiting for 2 hours. And, it just was kind of heartbreaking. And then going through this dementia journey with my own mom at the same time. Um, and she was a wonderful person, and her dementia showed up as, she could walk and talk and read, but she could not remember, and she had poor judgment. And, as many of y'all have that experience with people, loved ones. And she was in a couple different memory care units, and I felt that they really did not understand dementia very well. One example, my mom would walk and walk and walk around the unit, and she'd come to this emergency exit door, and the sign said, Press bar and hold for 15 seconds. Alarm will sound. She would walk over, see that? She'd press that bar and count to 15. And she would very proudly say, "See, I did it." And
That's
man, I was
brilliant.
so mad at her, you know? And after doing that 2 or 3 times, the nurse called me furious, and she's like, "You have to make her stop doing this." And I said, "Well, you're going to have to change the sign because she's reading the sign." And the nurse said, "Who in their right mind would read that sign and think that's what they're supposed to do?" And I said, "I don't know, but she has dementia, and so do your other patients. You're on a memory care unit." And, I just was like, this is not the place for her if they don't understand, like, how they're affecting.
They don't understand that these people are not stupid,
Right,
and
and
it
she
isn't
wasn't doing it to be mean or she
it was
was
just
thought she
following
was
an
doing it following
instruction.
directions. Yeah, she was a rule
Absolutely
follower.
following the instructions that were right there probably in red letters.
Yeah, you were,
Um,
yeah.
oh
So,
my goodness.
I know, and you know what? That sign was on the same it was the exact same sign that was on the at the nursing home I was working at the time, and I went to our administrator and said, "I think we should change the sign and say, 'In case of emergency, press the bar.'" And she also said, "Who would see that? Who would do that?" And I said, "My mother, who has
Yes.
dementia, did that."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
people don't realize, like, we take it for granted that everybody is not going to be literal, that they can have deduction and reasoning skills, and not everybody does at this phase in life.
don't you know it? Yeah, I mean,
So,
there's so
yeah,
much to learn, and we're still really scratching the scratch on
yeah.
these different type of,
What's best for for folks, right?
right, and just
Yeah,
what brain limited cognition looks like, and,
right,
because
right,
our brains are different and our lifestyles, everything about us is different. These diseases, there's
mhm,
so many that can
right.
cause these symptoms. So, I'm hearing from you that toileting is not part of speech pathology, so I'll mark
That's
that down.
right, that's
So,
right.
going forward, I'll make a note of that so that I know that. That's just too much.
Right, and it was so frustrating for me because, of course, I can't leave the resident like this. I have to help them, to the bathroom, and, I want to help them, and, the administrators, really started getting upset with me because even though I was getting all my work done, I was staying late every night to get all this done and take all these people to the bathroom, and they thought I was inefficient, and it's like, "Well, we've got some situation here that
Yeah.
you're adding work,
We need to talk about this a little bit further. Well,
Yeah,
tell me about Mimi's house and when did the light bulb go on or the dream that come to you
yeah,
that might come to fruition? So tell me about that.
yeah, I'd love to. So I was going to work every day and coming home, and every night I realized I was starting to say over and over, "We have to do more for people. This isn't enough. We're not doing enough for these people." It's not enough to have them sitting and waiting for 2 hours to go to the bathroom. And Mark, my husband, and I went to a real estate conference. And we heard Gene Garino speak, and that really changed our lives because when he started talking about residential assisted living, I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is what we're supposed to be doing with our lives. This is how we could solve this problem in a little microcosm way, for our immediate people." And the Residential Assisted Living Academy, which Gene was the founder of, um, teaches people how to own, run, and operate small homes. That it's like a group home, only there are caregivers there. There are trained caregivers there that work as shift work. They don't live there. So we have 8 residents living at Mimi's house and 2 caregivers, and they're there to help people with all of their activities of daily living, engagement, socialization. We cook for them there, everything. It's like I tell new people coming on, think of it as you're going to someone's home to take care of them, except for there's 8 people here and there's 2 of you to do it. So, we do all the it's like home cooked meals and very home family environment. And, I'm so grateful to Jean for introducing us for this because it really changed my life. And it has, I just know that had my mom lived long enough, she would have just loved being there, just she would have loved it.
Absolutely. My mom would have loved
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. I
I'm in
mean,
that.
my mom is not the gal that would have liked the, hotel living, of a big facility. Um, she would have liked being in a home. And it's it's been such an amazing journey because we've seen how much better people can do when they get a lot of attention.
Yep.
Um,
And
it's
years ago, you gave me a tour, and,
oh yeah,
I remember that it was in a neighborhood
yeah,
and with, like a two-car garage and a driveway and a deck on the back.
right.
And you came in and there was this lovely, living room. And, the residents could be, you know, anywhere in the house, and they
You're
each
right.
had their own bedrooms, and how
Right.
cool was that? But and
Yeah,
so it is very different from a traditional assisted living or memory care.
yeah.
What else is different?
Um, let's see. Well, I think a real significant difference is the relationships that the caregivers have with the residents. They really know them. They really know their families. The families know us, and the residents know us. Even as their dementia progresses, they recognize us. They know. They still know us. And it's like we become their family. And I think that is huge for people, and it's huge for the caregivers too, honestly. And I think it's really significant for the family members too. I hear very frequently from family members like things like, well, I liked the nurses and the caregivers at that other place that my mom was at.
Mhm.
They were nice and they cared, but I always wondered what happened like at night. Would someone come if she needed help? And did they really know her? And now that my mom's at Mimi's house, they'll say, I can sleep at night because I know that if she wakes up and needs something, that person's going to be there. And she's excited when that night shift person comes on and sees them, so the families appreciate that relationship too. I think that's probably the biggest,
Absolutely.
factor. Yeah.
And, the ratio of caregiver to resident is fabulous,
Yeah. We have a
and,
1 to 4, yeah, 1 to 4 ratio, which is just, pretty much unheard of anywhere else.
I agree, unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you're within an earshot all the time
Right, right.
of yeah.
We had one gentleman come to us, and he had been in 3 different memory care units. He, the place he was in had told the family they couldn't care for him anymore because he had fallen, 11 times in the first 30 days he lived there.
Mhm.
And they said, how can you do it? How can you keep him from falling? And I said, well, the main thing is we're going to be with him. Someone is going to be with him all the time. He did not have a fall for a year and a half when he came to us. So that was like, whoo, we were really proud of that,
That's
and it
impressive.
wasn't difficult. I mean, it wasn't like because he really was with us, we kept
Mhm.
him entertained and engaged with whatever we were doing.
And then he slept better?
And he slept better, and then he wasn't trying to get up because he was getting his needs met. He was,
Absolutely.
so it was really significant. Um,
So what
we
should
all,
people ask when assessing a home or a facility for their loved one? What are the better questions to ask?
yeah, I always think that the primary thing you want to know is what is the caregiver to resident ratio. And I have um, asked that of people in big facilities before, and oftentimes they'll just tell me they don't know, or that they evade the question, the answer. They don't really have a great answer for that, because the state says you have to have, enough care to provide for people's needs. That's the primary thing. And that's a big, that can be taken in a lot of ways, right?
Absolutely, that's so gray.
Yeah, I know it's very gray. So I always tell people to ask that because that's the biggest factor in how much care you're getting, how your access to your caregivers, I think is the biggest factor that's going to determine how your day is going to go. If you need a lot of assistance throughout the day and you have to wait a long time, your day is going to drag on, and if you or you're going to get agitated if you have dementia. You see more anxiety if your needs aren't being met. Um, so, by having easy access and quick access to your caregivers and to your needs being met, and sometimes these folks, cannot express what it is they need, but once people start really understanding them, and anticipating their needs, it helps reduce anxiety a lot. It really helps people feel better and calmer
Yeah, and more at home.
at
That
home.
makes me think of, are they allowed to bring their own furniture? Like, do they get to bring their own bed or,
They
or
can, yeah,
decorate
yep,
the room?
yep, they can. We provide furniture, but people are allowed to, and encouraged to bring whatever they want that's going to make it feel homey for them.
Mhm.
Whether it's furniture, lots of pictures on the walls, your stuff, from
Right.
home. Um, yeah, we do encourage people to bring stuff, things, and
I had another
especially
thought,
photos.
especially what? Photos?
Photos, family
Yeah,
photos. We love
yeah,
looking at photo albums with people.
absolutely. And what is visitation like?
It's pretty open. We do have visiting hours, like 9 to 7, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. But we make exceptions if needed. If someone's coming from out of town, or and has to come early or later, of course, we just find those are kind of times that work well for most people. Um, we do invite family members are welcome to eat meals with us anytime. We always prepare extra food,
Oh,
hoping
nice.
somebody will come and stay for lunch or dinner. Um, that's another thing we love is one thing I really like a lot about Mimi's house is people are allowed to get up in the morning when it's a good time for them. We have people that get up at 6:30. We have people that don't get up till 9,
I
and
love it.
that's okay, because they're on different their bodies are on different rhythms and in different times of their lives too. One year they might be an early riser, next year they might, sleep a little later depending on what's going on. Um, and of course, we feed them breakfast and help them get ready for the day, no matter what time they wake up. Um, we also help them with medication management, and we facilitate people. We don't have a nurse or a doctor at the first home, but we have access. We have a relationship with a nurse practitioner that comes to the home and sees our residents.
Nice.
Yeah, and we have access to their nurse, and so anytime we have a question, it's super easy for us to get assistance or advice to help our residents as much as possible.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If it's early in the disease, can I still take my loved one out and, say, for a meal or a special occasion and bring them back?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we have it's been real fun to see too how that has changed. It changes for people. Somebody that used to go out for lunch, and then maybe in 6 months or a year, now they're just going out for ice cream or for a drive-through something, or sometimes just for a ride.
Mhm.
It depends on where the resident is in their journey, and
Changes.
how the changes they're seeing. But we try to help families, navigate that as best as we can, and many families do come and take people out, and families come and hang out with us too. We love that we have a lot of family members that are very active with us. We have that first home that we have that we were talking about, um, that we mentioned, the one we've been saying is a home in a neighborhood that Mark and I renovated so that it has 8 private bedrooms, and then we have 2 caregivers there, and that is in Sims Township. The other home is that we opened. That home we opened 4.5 years ago. The other home we opened in a little less than a year ago is up in Mainville, and that house was built for community living, and that has 12 private bedroom suites. That home has a nurse and 2 caregivers there, so we do have a nurse during the day there at that home.
That's
So
amazing.
it's really, I love it because like we can have people there that maybe need insulin or a little more care, but it's still assisted living. So been a really fun, kind of seeing a different group there of people.
Yeah, do you ever have a situation where a couple might wanna move in?
We have had inquiries. We never yet have had that. I would love to have it.
Mhm,
We are able to accommodate couples. These rooms are really large, particularly in the Mainville home.
mhm.
The rooms are really large, so we could easily have two people living in one room, and our license does allow it. So um, I think that would be really nice if we've had things like father and son
Okay.
before, which is kind of cool. And
That is very interesting.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
what's next on the agenda for Mimi's house? What's
yeah.
coming down the pike?
Well, we're building another home on the same property in Mainville, and that home is dedicated to memory care. And so it is built a little differently, a little more securely, has the like magnetic lock. So you have to have a code to come in and out, but it will, be nice and secure for people that might be exit seeking. I'm super excited about that house, and that's going to be ready at the end of August. This August, it's coming up. It's going to be here soon.
Oh my
So,
goodness, I'll have to
yeah,
come and tour that.
yeah, yeah. Anybody's welcome to come see it. We That will have 15 bedrooms. That'll have a nurse and uh, two caregivers as well. So um,
That's
we're
amazing.
really excited about that. Yeah,
So,
it's nice.
Janet, how do people get a hold of you? I mean, we've probably piqued their interest now. They wanna come see one of your houses, one of your homes, and, see if it might be appropriate for their loved one. How do they get a hold of you?
Thanks for asking that. Yeah, we have, let's see, an email. Can I put it in the chat or something? I don't know how you do that. But my email is janet at mimishouse.com. And phone number is 513-290-6574. Yeah, we would love to show anybody the home. I'm always happy to show people because I feel or talk to people if someone has questions, even if it's not like you're ready to move your loved one somewhere, but just questions. And like you, Teresa, I feel like sometimes it's just good for people to be able to talk about some of this stuff and what their questions are, what they're looking for, what their needs
Sure.
are. I'm happy to talk to people anytime about what they're going through because it's hard. What home caregivers are doing is hard. And see if I
It is
can do it.
amazing though, because
Yeah,
you have just a great variety of experience,
yeah,
because you're very comfortable in the facilities because you did that with your,
yeah.
speech pathology, but
Right.
then you have the personal experience of doing this with a loved one because that's completely different.
It's so
It's
different. I know.
completely different when it's your own loved one, and,
Yeah,
and I can give you all kinds of advice, but then when it's with my loved one, I have to take
yeah.
another deep breath and
Right.
get my head on straight because it's hard. It's
Yeah,
hard, and so I
it's
just
really hard.
really
Yeah.
appreciate that about you, and
Thank
you
you.
are trained under Teepa Snow, one of my
Yes.
colleagues, yeah,
Yes.
trained under Teepa Snow like me, and that really is worthwhile, let me tell
It
you.
is. Yeah, that was a great experience as well. And um, yeah, I'm a certified coach under Teepa Snow. So
Nice.
yeah, which has really been fantastic. And I've had so many like caregivers say, "How come no one's ever taught us this before?" And
Mhm.
I usually say, "Because they probably didn't know." Like kind
Yes.
of like those people in the memory care with my mom. They didn't understand. They knew a little bit, but
Right.
there's so much to know. And
Right,
there's
and
so much.
it's
I
what
mean, we're always learning, right? I mean, all of us are. Um,
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
yeah, it's
Well, I am just delighted to have you here today. Time flies when we're having fun. This is just great information. For those of you out there, I just want to again thank Janet for coming on the podcast today because she is a wealth of information and there are great things happening. Um, and that's is it in Mason? Where are your other houses? I don't know if we said where.
Mainville.
Mainville, you said
Mainville.
Mainville,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So in the
Mainville. Yeah,
Mainville area. So for those of you, who are interested in, getting a hold of Janet, and checking out these amazing homes in Maineville, or if you just wanna talk to her, because maybe you're gonna need to start one of those in your area, you know
Yeah.
what? Janet's accessible, and that would be so great.
Yeah. Be happy to
Um,
talk to anybody.
yeah, okay, there's our information. Very
Thank you.
good. Yeah, of
Great.
course.
Yeah, great seeing you. You're always so, got so much great advice, Teresa. I really
Oh,
appreciate you and what you do for the
thanks.
community.
Thanks. Well, we're
Thank you.
always trying to, serve more people and bring in
Right.
more information at this point in time. Okay, everybody, thanks for being here today. Thanks so much for Griffo Productions. Nothing happens without a great broadcaster, right? I hope that you will like this podcast and that you will share it with someone who needs this information. Okay? And then subscribe so when we get another good idea, you'll find out about it first. Okay? As always, guys, be strong, hang in there, and just remember, you got this.